And then
What about
then,
the Torgerson dude? Just blatant what Don was talking about.
Yeah.
There's some that looks like a person that can't control the race car. You know, and
And
that's the problem.
was
There's no
commenting-
vetting in dirt racing. You know, if you have the money and a kid who wants, I want to be a race car driver, me. You just you just buy the car, put him in it, and then that guy, this driving that I just saw here, it's like he had no idea how to drive the car. Like he just drove it into somebody. Like didn't have no conception of slowing down and making the corner. Like something, did a bug hit him in the eye or something? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, you know, this is my opinion is that there's a lot of these kids that are actually getting to race. You know, they're just not ready to race at that level at Tulare.
well, these are badass fucking race cars. There's not a lot of people in the world that can really drive these things. These ain't necessarily easy things to drive. These are some of the hardest vehicles in the world to drive. You know, maybe your kid ain't cut out to be able to do that, you know?
If one of the greatest 360 races in California, in Andy Forsberg, won't race the Trophy Cup, you know, like, you know, because that place will eat you up really fast. And, you know, we saw some big crashes down there. I didn't get back on Saturday. I couldn't come back. I had some other commitments. But
well, I'm thinking what I'm saying is like, you know, these are jets on the ground. And to get into a jet in the air, you have to go to like an academy and pass tests. And if you don't pass tests, you don't even get to get in the cockpit ever in your life. You know, there's a vetting process to where you get tested to even be able to be allowed to fly them. And if these are jets on the ground, which it is, you know, pretty comparable, and you're just able to buy your way out there into the air with other people and fly jets in the air without any kind of training or tests passed. You know, we're hoping micros are tests, but you don't even have to win in the micros to advance. You just have to have the money, you know. That's not good. I think that's how this stuff happens.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I don't really want it to go as closed as Australia, where you know the government, you hold a government license to race a sprint car, but there is some merit.
Yeah.
There is some merit. You have to work your way up. You know, you just can't buy a sprint car. You just can't buy a sprint car and turn up and race a sprint car. You know, and I think
there's a benefit to that system.
Yeah. And there's still a lot of difference between a really badass micro and, you know, a 360 sprint car. There's still, you know, and especially somewhere like Tulare, you know, those guys are getting around there. Like a lot of people, if you haven't been there,
it's unbelievable, the speed. It's half-mile speed.
Yes. Yes. At Tulare, it is really fast, and it'll eat you up and spit you out quicker than anything. So, I don't know. I just think that we got these kids coming in, and I see Dom's point. You know, someone's going to get killed or something if you have instance like the particular guy that ran back out on the track in front of everybody was.
Oh God, that was crazy at Placerville.
Yeah, no, but the one that ran on Tulare that drove back out on the track, I think it was Thursday night, right in front of the leaders. You know, and that's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and even to the father's point, there are some guys who are probably old and washed up. I don't think it's Dom, but there are some that are out there. You know, maybe a guy gets rich and just hits the lottery and he wants to drive a race car. I knew a guy in Texas named Sean Peterson, who had a lot of money, but he really couldn't drive. But he could do it. But he was 45, you know, he had made wealth in his life, and he wanted to drive race cars, and he couldn't do it. Now, I know there's some other guys that get up in age, and they make money, and they get in the car, and they're good. You know, and I think that's where the talent area is lying. You know, some people, talent, you cannot teach talent. And that's why I laugh when I hear about these schools and these coaches for these drivers out there now. You can't teach talent. Tim Tebow prayed to God to throw the football better than Tom Brady, and Tom Brady could be drunk, falling over, throw a football better than him. You know, you can't teach talent. It's God-given. Some people have it and some don't.
Exactly, Chaz. The other thing too is these people that can buy race cars and just turn up and race, because they've got the money to do so. It's just crazy. I just don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what it is.
These cars, like you say, these cars are like fighter jets, but they're on the ground.
Jets. We're letting people jump into jets because they can buy one. Did you hear what the fuck I just said? Imagine if they let that go in the real world. You know how much you have to be a Donnie Schatz? Because me and Donnie Schatz joked about me getting a pilot's license, mainly to do drone stuff. But me and him joked, if you get one, I'll let you drive it. I went to looking into it. Do you know how hard it is to even get a license to fly a private jet? We're not talking about a fighter pilot. We're talking about just to cruise around up there in the sky. You know, it takes 2 to 3 years, and there's tests in there that are unbelievably hard. Reactionary tests, all kinds of crazy tests to even think about flying. And flying a plane, I would say, guys, is a little bit easier than driving a sprint car. If you think about it, how hard it is to literally, we watch the guys and everything to just, you pull back, you fly the plane. It's close to I'm not saying it's as easy as a car on the streets, but it is pretty close to a car on the streets. There's a certain way you do it, and everybody has these rules, and you abide by them, and you stay safe, and you do everything slow. And so I would say that flying a plane is easier than driving a fucking sprint car. And you got to go and do all that stuff just to even think about getting in the air with a fucking drone, mind you. To even fly a drone, you have to go and do shit to be approved to do it and have knowledge and ability. What in the world are we doing? If you can buy a jet, you can fly one. That doesn't happen. And I'll say this, a real fighter jet is probably as hard to drive or fly as a sprint car. Not like a commercial plane like I was explaining, but a fighter jet. And Bill Gates can't just go buy a fighter jet and fly one. This is how we ride.